All right, we're going to record now. We're just going to vibe out, okay,
Well,
guys?
now I'm nervous.
Don't be
I'm not nervous.
Dude, now I'm scared.
Do I look okay, Steve? Is everything okay?
Well, you already recorded, so.
I mean,
I
just want to hear
It's
Steve's
funny
voice.
because that's exactly how I want to start. Of
Yeah.
like,
That's what I
just
figured.
like
That's
that.
why I'm like, I'm just
Yeah.
being normal.
We're just going to be chilling on these light brights, right? Like, I don't know if this takes you back to the day. I think I had a light bright. I'm a 90s kid.
I
90s
didn't,
kid.
but my sisters did, and I did steal it from her to try to use.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I had a light, but right, growing up.
Yeah, so I definitely did a light bright every now and then, but now they run on batteries. You don't have to plug them in, and they're kind of cool. So
Where's the on button?
it's right
giant
there.
one
Big
there,
giant power button right
Yeah,
there?
the giant power button.
Big one.
But yeah, just create whatever you want to create. You guys are creative people.
Since we're going 90s, I'm going to have to make a 90s emblem. But,
Ooh, 90s emblems. Okay.
but
Oh.
you
Don't
can't
tell
see-
anybody.
I think I know
We'll-
You
what
can't
you're
see it
making.
just
Same as
yet.
you said 90s emblem.
Don't be stealing my ideas,
I'm
man.
not going to do it. I don't have that creativity.
Save the
I'm a
reveal for
storyteller,
the
not a-
end.
not a
Ooh,
artist
storyteller.
guy.
Yeah. I think for me, today we're going to talk about something that you guys are probably familiar with, but we're just going to talk about doubt, right? And it actually was a question from a student that texted in, and they asked, like, is it okay to be a Christian in doubt? But I think we can take it even further and ask the question, like, is it just okay to doubt, period? And remove, like, the Christian in it, because I think doubt is something that a lot of people feel just in the world today. There's a lot of scary things and a lot of things that you're just unsure of and don't know about. So I'd love to hear, like, maybe what's one of your, like, earliest experiences with doubt, like, as a feeling, like, that you can remember back to.
Oh, man, as a feeling?
Yeah, just like a general feeling.
Well, I grew up skateboarding.
Okay.
So, like, some of my earliest feelings of doubt is, like, learning how to skateboard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was lucky enough to where my dad built us, like, ramps in our backyard.
Okay.
So I was
fun.
I was like 5, 6 years old trying to learn how to drop in and just, like, balance on my board.
Yeah, Tony Hawk
And-
vibes.
Yeah, exactly. And we had these small, they were like 3, maybe 4 foot high ramps, but at 6 years old,
It's
that's
like-
like huge, dude.
Like,
huge.
I'm jumping vehicles, man.
And like it's true. Like my dad, be like, I'm right here. I got you. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna let you fall. But I was doubting that. I was like, no way, dude. I'm about to die if I try to drop in this. Like,
For real.
Yeah, that's probably the earliest
Okay,
memory I have.
What you just said triggered a memory. Your dad saying, "Just go, just do it."
do it.
So, for me, it's definitely swimming. Swimming
Oh,
was
really?
like
Yeah.
learning to swim in that situation. I don't know if
Okay.
that's kind of typical, but it's
Yeah.
kind of stereotypical. But like I remember being like, "You can jump in, and I got you." I remember my dad in the pool, like in the river, because I'm from Texas. We weren't in the ocean, but just remember that like, no, I don't trust you, and I don't trust this whole system of water and these floaties I'm wearing. Not a thing. Like,
True.
like try again.
Yeah.
And I just remember being like, I remember the anxiety peaking, and then just deciding, you know what, live or die. I gotta try. You know. And so, cause it was always my cousins were having way more fun, and my cousins were all like fish. Like if they were, as soon as they were born, I think my aunt threw them into the water, and just like they were.
Okay.
And so I always was like, I want to go do what they're doing because they're playing and they're having fun. And so I just got to that point of like, I want to try it, and then I did that. And once I did that, once I overcame that like first moment of doubt, everything was a lot easier.
No, that's good. That's like they were amphibians, you know, just natural swimmers.
And also, we used to swim in the back of a truck. Has anybody ever swam in the
Wait,
back of a
what?
truck?
Dude, that's the most Texas thing I've
Dude,
ever heard
it's
you
also
say
the
in your
most
life.
ghetto thing because we had no money for like a pool. So like we literally just put a tarp in the back of a truck, grab the water hose, as we call it, the manguera, and we put it in the bag and it would just keep running because there's holes everywhere.
What?
And it's just to keep it like at a foot, like, height.
Yeah.
So I was used to that kind of swimming. So anytime I got into like an actual pool, it was definitely like
Tread in deep water.
there's sharks in there, man. There's wildlife.
Man,
Did I
that
tell you-
triggers trauma,
Dude,
McKenna.
I almost drowned when I was a baby.
No way.
Fell in the pool.
Hit me with it. I need
Still
to hear.
still terrified of water.
Rescue 911 if we're talking about 90s.
Still like I could swim, obviously, but that's probably another doubt I have. I'm like, even at the age that I am, I don't want to say it because people are automatically
You
gonna
old,
assume
man.
I'm
It's
old.
okay.
It's you're old, yeah.
I still doubt going out into the ocean at certain points because I'm like, hey, it just drops off at one point, and I'm not gonna be able to touch.
That's
and
true.
I feel like I'm
I don't like
again.
getting in the ocean either. No, I actually, my swimming experience, like learning how to swim, I was like, I'm a scaredy cat, I think, naturally. And so my dad at the time, he was like, you need to learn how to, like, today you're going to learn how to swim, like swim lessons. But like, we didn't have the money.
Or like a dude or like,
I wasn't with a lifeguard or anything like that. And I was probably a little older when learning to swim than most people. So my dad was like, just get in the pool, like, you know, like you'll float. And I was like, I don't trust this process.
You're like,
This is
Dad.
not something I trust.
No,
so
sir.
so I wouldn't get in, and I'm pretty stubborn. So it would be like, I'm not getting in the pool, like I'm running away, like all of that. Like it became a whole thing. And he's like, this isn't gonna be a thing. So he threw me in.
Oh,
and I
ooh.
almost drowned.
That dad.
That
That
dad.
dad.
He literally threw me
He's like,
into the pool.
deep end, my son.
Yeah, he's like, you're just going. And I was like, I hated him. I was traumatized. It still traumatizes me to this day. I actually don't really like water that much, like in terms of
Way to
ocean.
go, Dad. Thanks for the core memory.
Core memory that I need therapy to recover from.
Praise God for therapists.
Oh, for real,
I think I
dude.
figured it out.
Dude, no, that's actually like for real doubt though. Like, and then just don't trust people now because of that.
Oh.
Like, good grief, dude.
Yeah.
Oh
Jumping
yeah,
in a
if you
pool.
want to get into doubt of like trusting people,
It's
I
a
got
whole,
stories
it's a whole
from high
bag.
school. Of,
Oh,
people
share,
not doubting.
please.
Please,
Please
you have.
share.
You mean people in school were untrustworthy? You telling me?
Share with the class, man.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up going to church, but
Okay.
kind of similar to what Pastor Matt said this weekend. I had basketball homies because I played travel basketball.
Yep.
I had church homies because I was involved in church all the time, and then I had my school homies. But lo and behold, every single one at school, on the basketball team, and at church, like each friend, had ultimately like hurt me in some way, or I
They
had
all
people.
betrayed you,
Yeah,
right?
they all betrayed me at some point. Like I had people that.
Dang.
Acted like my friend when they saw me, but then they started trying to like talk to my girlfriend, or they started talking
Hey.
bad about me
We're not fans of that.
to like
an
other
Uncle
leaders
Sandwich
or
right
other
there.
pastors. So
Yeah.
that messed me up for a while, and that's currently why I'm in therapy to talk through that stuff, talk through that doubt I have of like other people.
Yeah.
Isn't it like you can always remember that first homie that like backstabbed you, whether it was like in pre-K and like he took your crayon, or
Yeah.
7th grade and he tried to steal your girl. Like those hurts are like core memories for sure. Like
Oh, yeah.
those get locked away and like almost are what you gauge every other thing off of.
Yeah. I actually,
That's what I thought.
I've had some people betray me for sure, and I think that does lead to doubt. But I'd like to even shift it to this one specific moment. Wow, I'm a mess over here.
You don't
This
wanna
one.
see
These
what
do,
over
yeah.
here.
Maybe I was too young, but these like do not stick as well as I
Nah.
remember.
I'm actually just going for an abstract vibe right now. Like
I
color-
currently
color
love it, but
coordinating.
I'm afraid that these
Yours
will
is
fall out.
dope. I'm gonna be honest. McKay's looks dope. Mine looks troubled. I don't know if you're gonna be able to read
Let me
it.
see if I can.
I'm restarting. So now
It's
now
okay.
I'm
It's
stressed
okay.
about
It's
it.
a happy little mistake.
But yeah, I think like something that actually inspires me is the culture we have today of like this hot word of deconstruction,
Hey.
which actually it was I saw someone that was like they posted something that was pretty enlightening. It was like deconstructing is like not a bad word, but like
Yeah.
sometimes in the church specifically, like it is a bad word because
Right.
people are like, what does that mean? Are you still a Christian? Or like, can you deconstruct and do this? Or like, can you essentially to the core, deconstruction is just like figuring it out, right? But like we don't all realize or talk about that we're all figuring it out. Nobody has like A, B, C, D, and E filled out. Even your lead pastor, even your youth pastor, like all those people are figuring it out. And like that to the core would mean that every Christian in the world is deconstructing.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
like-
your lead pastor might be a little bit farther down the road.
Yeah,
but
might
at the
know.
same, they've probably had the same questions that you've had at a
Along
certain
the
point.
way.
Yeah.
For sure.
And they might like resolve it in a different way, right? Because like maybe something that really bothers you personally about like God, or something that you're stuck on in terms of like, I don't quite understand this about God. And you're like, oh, that might not be what someone else is
Yeah.
also stuck on. They might rationalize it in a different way, or
Right,
they might
right.
experience and encounter God in a whole new way. And I think that like shifting I think shifting like doubt from a bad thing to almost a good thing, because a lot of times we really do like make doubt a negative term. It's like,
for sure,
like, why is that a bad thing, right? It's
Right.
actually just an emotion that we feel along the way. It's the same with like being sad or being happy or anything like that. It's just something that happens every so often. You just don't live in that place every day.
it's a human thing.
Yeah, it's a human thing.
Definitely. I think it's also a
Definitely
normal Christian thing.
Yeah.
I feel like I've experienced and what I've seen in like being in ministry for a while is that you have this like, for most people, not everybody, but for most people, it starts off and you're like on fire for God, like honeymoon stage. God is everything. You just want to be at youth. You just want to be at church. You just wherever stage you find God at, whether you're young or old, you're like, I want that thing. I want to watch the cheesiest Christian programming. I want to hear like, I want the weird shirts that are like, you know, like everything. And then I think you go to you get through it and you learn a little more, and then maybe more so you experience hurt from people,
Christian.
and individuals in the church, Christian. And then like you go through that deconstruction, you know, then you kind of, and I think the point of it is, I think that's normal. Like, I think most, like you said, people are in some form of deconstruction. And I think that's a healthy thing for Christians to be at. I think if you're not asking God, like, or talking to God or to your leaders or to, you know, someone that you trust, that's, that can give you guidance about those doubts, I think that's where it gets easy to lose your way and become, you know, lost a bit and get stuck in those things.
No,
But
I agree.
I also don't think there's always like the right answer all the time for every question as
For
well.
sure.
Like, I think there's good doubt. I think there's good room for like discussion and figuring things out. I think that's a very human and Christian thing to be doing.
Totally. I do like, wow, I think that's like really, in a sense, like powerful for a lot of people. I think it's freeing really to like be able to walk in doubt and be like, oh, this is okay. And sometimes like, especially me growing up, like, I think it's hard for people that grow up in church atmospheres.
Right.
Dude, look at what I have. This is just amazing.
That's beautiful though.
Thank you, dude. I got some like triangles, you know, some shapes.
I went real abstract towards the end of this, but the main focal piece is there.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous, bro. I'm sorry. McKay's an artist.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I mean it's true too. Like, I grew up in a church where, like, the concept of doubting your faith was frowned upon. You know what I mean?
Because you got to have it together.
Yeah, I was a student that was like, hold on, I have some mixed feelings about this, which that's a key word, feelings.
Yeah.
But I came from a background where it was like, oh, well, then you just need to pray more. You need to just read more. You need to just try harder.
Yeah.
And you look at multiple stories throughout the Bible, like the two that stand out to me the most. One, the kind of famous one, Doubting Thomas, who all the disciples are like, yo, Jesus, you know, was raised from the dead. He's back. And Doubting Thomas is like, I will not believe until I see, you know, the nails in his hand, or what did he call it? The scars in his hand?
Yeah, the
scars in his hand.
Yeah.
For more than nails were. Yeah.
So that's a prime example of someone that's like, no, I have severe doubts that he's actually back. And then another one I think of that maybe doesn't get talked about as much. Keep stealing my light.
I do, because I'm out and I'm like, I have a new creation going. So
is Moses. Like,
Yeah.
you talk about the foundation of the Jewish faith. Moses asked God, like, well, who are you? Who do I say that you are? And in both of those situations, God isn't like, you idiot, why'd you ever doubt this? He invites them, or God invites them into like a deeper understanding and a deeper relationship with them.
Provides them with some evidence, you know,
Hey,
along the way, like
evidence,
like a burning bush that cannot be explained. And he's like, what the?
He's
Exactly.
like,
He's like, oh, I can maybe understand.
And he's like, but I continue to doubt because I got this inability to talk, God. I talk real weird. And he's like, don't worry, I got you. And he just keeps, but he keeps with them. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, he's like walking him along the way, and that's kind of like what I like to. That's how I view, like, at least my relationship with God. That it's like you are taking one step at a time in a certain direction, right? And then it's never, because sometimes, I don't know, man. Like, sometimes in the church we say this word that I really hate. It's backsliding. Like, and so it's like when you hit that moment of doubt, it's like, oh, they're backsliding. What does that even mean?
Dude, I haven't heard that for a minute, but yeah,
I know.
that's
I
a good word.
I remember that word.
I think that's just
I don't have
deconstruction of the
I
whole
don't
right
have
now.
any fond memories of that word, but I also don't know what it means. Like,
Yeah. I think I went to my youth pastor once and I was like, man, I've just been backsliding lately. It's like, no, I haven't. In fact, I would consider it growth. I think like anytime you feel like far away from God or really close to God, these are just moments along the way. They're not steps backwards. In fact, every step I would say is forward in growing and learning through your doubt. And on the other side, we would really hope and pray that someone would become closer to God because of their doubt or because of the things that they're figuring out, and help other people also figure out and rationalize through this thing we call doubt.
Yeah.
So.
One of the books I read, because I grew up in the church, left when I turned 18 because I got burned by a lot of people.
Yeah.
And then about 4 or 5 years later, started going back to church again and reignited my relationship with God. But one of the books I was reading gave this really cool picture of like what it means to be a Christian and how to navigate the Christian faith. And it was like, he explained the story of parents teaching their baby how to walk. You know what I mean? When a baby first like stands up, it's super shaky, and more often than not, they fall right on their butt again.
Yeah.
But the parents are never like, oh, you dumb baby, like how dare you not know how to stand up and fall on your butt.
You dumb baby.
They celebrate the small win of like, hey, this baby just like started to be able to stand and get their legs underneath them. And I think that's such a cool picture of like how God views us too. Like, sure, if you really screw up, there's gonna be repercussions for your actions. But when you're navigating a Christian life and trying to understand who God is, he's not gonna like get upset at you for just learning how to walk. He's gonna praise the attempt to like know him more and develop a deeper relationship with him.
for sure.
So
Dang,
that's just a picture that's always kind of like stuck
Yeah.
in my mind.
No, that's good.
One good phrase that I have picked up from church was like, we're all on a journey.
Yeah.
And I think that was like a more of a healthy way to look at it, is like,
Yeah.
whether you're quote unquote backslidden or you're, on fire, whatever you want to use, I think we're all on a journey, and realizing that to help, your brother and your sister out as they walk in, their relationship with Jesus, and to be there and know that because we're all on our journey, we're all at different points, and somebody's already been in that point that you're in. I think so many times we isolate ourselves in our deconstruction, thinking that we're the first person to think these thoughts or go to this place or have these worries, when in actuality, your pastor, your youth leader, your mom and dad probably even have had that exact same doubt. And if you can be open and honest with people, with safe people that are have a good head on their shoulders, you can really move along on your journey.
Yeah.
That's a gold nugget right there. That's valuable for sure.
I think it's totally okay to have seasons of doubt and have questions.
Yeah.
But as soon as you sit in those questions and not seek like an answer or start trying to figure out like a solution to, maybe not a solution, but like, I think that's ultimately what God's calling us to, is like, these questions are an invitation into a deeper relationship. So like, sure, the older generation might not know exactly what you're going through because everyone has different experiences, but there's probably a lot of similarities that like insight and help can be given to, you know what I mean?
For sure.
That's what happened to me when I doubted. I just isolated from everybody. I was afraid to say I'm having these questions, and so those thoughts just kept spewing in my head, and ultimately where I quote unquote doubted myself out of a relationship with God, if that's possible. I don't know.
I love that. Snaps all around, man. Snaps for McKay,
Picasso.
Ooh, I like it. Picasso. TikTok vibes.